Welcome to another week on your public relations program, Your Image. The focus this week is the continuation of our topic, youths, gender issues, and national integration. Together with me was Farouk Shita, who is now with me today. Farouk Shita is the Public Relations Officer for the National Youth Council
of Nigeria,
Ogun State chapter. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
And we have another erudite scholar here, and a founder of the Education, Gender, Youth, and Family Network, an NGO in Nigeria, Professor Helen Bodunde. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, and good day, viewers.
You're welcome, ma'am. And still with us is the Special Assistant on Youth and Sports, Honorable Olamide Lawal. You're all welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Last week, we were having a discussion on how the youth can cope with the societal changes. What has been their role in moving the nation forward? And we know that they have the energy, they have the resources, they have the capacity to do great things. And we have also listened to the special assistant who has been able to tell us what the state government has been doing to enhance them and motivate them to achieve their goals in the nation. Today, Prof, you are here and you are representing the women, young girls, and others. And we want to know, when we talk of national integration, your area, your constituency, have they been included properly?
Thank you very much. I think when we consider both youth and women, we discover that you have said it, that the youth has the capacity, they have the potentials, they have the resources. If I want to analyze that resources, we'll talk more. And when we talk about women or the girl child, of course, they have their potentials, endowments, and with education, women are highly developed. But when you talk about inclusion, I think both groups could be looked at as being marginalized. And for those of us who are in the development, we know what it is when we say that both youth and women are being marginalized.
But there's a perception, Prof, there's a perception that women controls the society. So why would they why are they not included in the program? Because in the homes, they are vital. In governance, they are vital.
In decision making, anybody that is not involved in decision making is vulnerable. Anyone that is not involved in decision making. How many homes do you have women being involved in decision making, particularly in Africa?
That's interesting, madam.
So in decision making, when women are not involved, when the youth, the children are not involved, they are vulnerable. And when you talk of inclusion, they are not part of it.
Well, I don't want to say that could be subjective because...
Let me explain this.
Okay.
For instance, we talk of homes. When you see husband and wife, probably there is an issue and they are discussing. It got to a point and the man, oh, that's my final. I've given my final decision. Is the woman included? When you talk of the community, hardly can you have a woman to be in the meeting of the community. They call landlords, and the landlords will be and they will take decision. Women are not included. The moment you are not included in decision making, then when you talk of institutions, we talk of gender mainstreaming. That's what can bring equality. But in decisions, look at those at the the higher level. Women, you have just a token of women at that level. So there is no gender mainstreaming. And because there is no gender mainstreaming, you don't have the women in positions to take this, even when they want to take decisions, they want to make policies that will affect them, because they are not fully or well represented. Then you see that there is nobody, their voice or voices are not heard. Because when you talk of, we want to make this policy for women, I mean, it is the person who is involved that will understand what we are talking about.
Well, I have no doubt that I must agree with you. Well, the society is changing, and of course, we'll be adapting. Farouk, when we compare old values and the dynamism in the society, the changes that is coming up, when we look at the global effect of what is being transmitted all over the world, look at what happens in America being mainstreaming, and Africans are imbibing that culture, that attitude. Has it not caused a negative attitude in the Nigerian youth?
Yes, it has some of this borrowed culture and borrows lifestyle of those not from Africa or Nigeria. Some of their lifestyle negates our own culture. And as young people, I would just advise that instead of us emulating what those people are doing over there, why can't we improve on our own? Of course, there are some of things that they are doing over there that are okay in terms of technology. The advancement of technology is basically from abroad, from all these advanced countries, and we can see how it has improved our life and the way we do things these days. But just that the moral nakedness, the bad side of it, such as guys not using their belt, zagging, they call it zagging, and all these, some of them, even if you want to smoke, even it is even written on the pack, smokers are liable to die young. And if you want to smoke, it is on medicational standard, not on the street, taking alcohol, abusing alcohol and such vices, and even courtesim of a teen. These are negative vices that I want to encourage our young people to shun, and we should imbibe the spirit of our Africanism, our Nigerian culture. Our culture is so sweet, and is something that we should be proud of it. As a Yoruba person, we should be proud of our culture, and everywhere we are in the continent, we should be proud to say that we are from Ogun State. This is my culture. This is our way of life, and it should reflect in our way of life, the way we talk, in the way we dress, and everything that we exhibit. The moral value should be exhibited at every opportunity we have in the global space.
Thank you very much, Honorable. How is government helping the youth to network, particularly women and girl child? How are they helping them to network and improve on their well-being?
Well, regarding that's why I always like to make references. You know, last week while we were discussing this matter, I was practically making references to what we are doing in Ogun State. And in Ogun State, as Prof said, that girl child and our women, so to say, and youth are not, they are vulnerable when it comes to decision making. These are part of the cadence that we met, but as a government that is trying to mainstream the gender, we are doing everything to make sure that everything is balanced. And looking at our own government, women are much more included in decision making. You know,
okay.
When we talk about youth, we talk about women. Women are very, very much involved in decision making. they play vital role in decision making in Ogun State today. And they are even holding very, very vital offices in Ogun State today. So Ogun State being a reference point, I can tell you that as the governor is taking care of youth, so also is taking care of women. Though we might not reach where we hope to be, but we are not where we were.
It's an ongoing process.
Yes,
thank
definitely. And they need to encourage the governor who is doing that to keep doing more. And I can make references currently. The head of service, which is the head of the civil service organization of the state, is a woman. The deputy governor is a woman. The commissioner for health is a woman. The commissioner for trade and investment is a woman. We also have commissioner for women affairs. So they are cutting across. They are much involved in the decision making.
Yeah, that's a very. The statistics are very vital. And
yes.
On that, I want to ask Prof. Well, if what the essay has just said can't be controverted, because these are women who are in the high places and they are from homes, and I know that they have high influence. So, from your angle, how can we then engage collaborative learning in changing the scope of things, in enabling women, girl child, and other vulnerable people? How can we help them to align and be part of the national benefits?
Yes, let me say I give kudos to the government of Ogun State, particularly in putting women in some sensitive positions. But I want to see the women influencing policies on women. That is when we know that they are working. We want to see them influencing policies on women. We want to see them influencing policies on girl child. We also want to see them, coming into providing a kind of opportunities, for networking. Mentoring is an important issue. We have them up there, and they tell their stories. I'm sure there are a lot of things that the young ones, can learn from that. And so they should leverage on this. And when policies have been, in fact, with their position, they can also work with the state assembly. They can work with state assembly. And I'm sure we also have a few women in the assembly, very few women. When we talk of local government, the last local government, thank God for the other local government.
If also had a woman.
Pardon?
Ifo.
Okay, okay.
Ifo,
so we have about 2 of them. I want
most of their deputies are women.
Yes, I want to see all these women coming together, because they represent they represent a group. It's not that they are there to work for women alone, but because we know women,
they are there to help the family and the nation.
Yes, and the moment a woman is a woman is educated, a woman is empowered, then consider families empowered. Consider the nation, are going places. For instance, we are talking of peace issues now. When you look at various groups or committees formed, hardly can you get a woman in that thing. And women have their role. If you go to our history as Africans, even as Nigerians, we know the role that women played. Even in the Bible, we also know the roles that women played. Let's look at our situation in Nigeria. We have women that people even take them as goddess today because of the role they play. When men chicken out, they perform that role. And so, with that situation, we want to see these women, coming together, forming a formidable group in empowering women. Training is part of it. When you train a woman very well, there will be an attitudinal change. And when there is an attitudinal change, the woman will develop herself in such a way that it will affect people around her. I talk about the peace. We know how they're killing people all over the places. But even when we want to look at the issue of how can we build peace, women have to be represented. You can't remove women from peace building. They have a role. And these are sensitive areas that I think the government
Prof,
should look into.
Let me just continue. I want to look at your NGO. I mentioned the issue of collaborative learning, and behind government response, what can we do to help ourselves as women, girl child? Because you are a specialist in collaborative learning, maybe you need to expose more on this so that women who are listening to you, girl child who are listening to you, can begin to learn, can begin to imbibe this kind of
Yes, there are things we do and we are still doing. For instance, going to secondary schools, talk to girls, having them to come together as a group, and we teach them, you know, some of the things that they need to know. One, that as a young girl, you have the endowments to be who God has purposed you to be. And because of this, you have to work hard. So we preach that, you know, onto them. Then we know what is happening in our environment. Peace, for instance, this issue of violence. We talk to them, you must be your sister's keeper.
Okay.
Know what is going on. If there is any issue, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. So there is a network, you know. Then it's not that we are talking to girls alone, even to the boys.
Okay.
Because when you are talking to girls alone, you are not doing anything. For instance, the violence we are talking about, from who to who? From the boys to the girls. So we also talk to the boys. These ones are your sisters. These are things you need to do to them. You have to protect them. You have to protect each other. So I think there is this need for this civic education. Okay. Civic education is very important. Okay. So we do this. We also speak to women because they have risk. I know there are so many issues contending with women's time, you know, that maybe has prevented some of them, you know, to take care of their children. The empowerment we are talking about. You know, in the past, a woman would just sit down, the husband will go and vend, and they will bring food and the rest of that.
Time has changed.
But now, the man will also be expecting the woman to put something down. Okay, oh, this is the school fees, so what your child will get, what he will be eating in the school and the rest of that, go and look for that. There is no way the woman will go out. And situations like that, if they are not fully organized or very organized, you see them leaving the children alone. And it takes its toll on the family.
Thank you very much, Prof. Viewers, this is your public relations program. And come September 23rd, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations will be coming up with what we call Citizens Summit for National Integration, Peace, and Security. Of course, we have come up with this program so that we can begin the sensitization. The youth sector, you are here, so we would like you to enlighten your colleagues.
Yes, sir.
And we also have a Prof who is representing women here. We would like to see you on board on the 23rd of September. And of course, we have reached out to government, and we know that the necessary response will come up. This is Your Image Public Relations Program on Ogtv. If we are talking national integration, how do we preach this issue of national integration, peace and security to the youth?
Yes, as young people, we should shun violence, we should embrace unity. The peaceful coexistence of us as a nation is very, very vital to us. And as young people, we should not take laws into our hands. We should, what is happening in the north is challenging. Although those people that are in that doing that are in that act are young people, but I would say it is lack of education, because killing and destroying national assets is not the solution to whatever agitations that they might have been fighting for. So I want to charge us that we should not take law into our hand as young people. We should preach peace, talk peace, and we should come together and brainstorm together and channel our grievances in a way to the people at the leadership, in a way that they will understand without violence. In Ogun State, yes, as the state, the APS youth leadership in the state, which is the National Council of Nigeria chapter, there are issues within us from the youth constituency telling us this and that. But hardly you will see the youth of Ogun State coming to the street to protest. And we have been channeling our complaints, our observations from our colleagues, which are the youth, to the government, in a way that the government has also been responding in a positive way. And we are getting results. And that's why Ogun State is peaceful, and that's why Ogun State youth are not, we are not hearing any bad news.
Well,
as far as Ogun State is concerned.
We expect that,
and we are still maintaining that.
We expect that you sustain that peace.
We are sustaining that, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Prof.
Yes, I think what I will say here is that, advising the youth, that I think he made a point, he said education. It's not only education. When you have nothing doing, when someone has nothing doing, no means of livelihood, it will be a good candidate, to be recruited for any antisocial activity. And so we also want to tell, even when you have nothing doing now, we are discussing that government should come in. I'm sure government will come in, but learn whatever trade that is available to you that can make you better in future. Don't be involved. Don't be a good hand to be used for violence. And of course, for women, we have that within us, the resilience that even if it is difficult today, tomorrow it will be better. I also want to advise that whatever good that you find your hands do, please do it well. Do it well. And as much as possible, you must take care of your children by giving them the right education, the moral life, and above all, the fear of God in everything they do.
Well said, Prof. Honorable Awa,
So,
how do you now admonish and ensure that we attain that goal for national integration, peace and security?
well, most of it have been said by the by Prof and the PRO of National Youth Council. What our youth needs to do is to make sure that they engage themselves in the resourceful things, and they should not be idle, because an idle is a devil's workshop. And also they should be ready, because most times our youth, most people, they are not ready. They are like, most times they are forcing them to do something. Though with the things that we have experienced so far in Ogun State, we see that Ogun State youth have demonstrated high capacity and commitment to national development, and we can only encourage them to make sure that they sustain that habit and shun any form of violence act, and ensure that they retain that omoluabi that we are known for.
That's great. That's great. Well, you have been admonished that youth should shun violence. They should come up with skills that can advance their cause. They should vision what is good, what can grow themselves, what can grow the nation, and they should be articulate. They should shun this lazy attitude and encourage themselves to be active, to be visionary. Next week, when we come again, we'll be having another topic on your image, your public relations program. I want to thank Farouk Shita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, listeners, viewers.
Prof.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you, viewers at home.
It's been wonderful having you around. Honorable Lawal.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me, and thanks to our viewers too.
Viewers, thank you so much for being with us all these years. Until next week, please join us. Same time, same Thursday. Bye.